Alright, so last time I said I was going to do a couple of other training hacks. I actually was been playing through this one just to kind of get some feel for it, see how things were going, and honestly, it's a lot harder than the other two. I think it would take me way too long to actually do a stream, so or do the full hack. So actually, what I'm going to do is the final level. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. It took me quite a bit of time to play through it. I think I can probably do it again. I don't think it'll be too hard. But I'm just going to do the final level, and that's the graduation exam. So I'll be officially a graduate of this hack. I haven't played it quite yet today, but we'll see how things go. Basically, each of the rooms is kind of combining all the different gimmicks from the rest of the game, and the other hacks explained it pretty well for most of the stuff. If there's anything new, I might try to jump in and see, but basic flight stuff, but just kind of everything in this hack seems like it was turned up a lot. So you end up doing a lot of things that you didn't have to do in the other. So things like this with the flight control, and the next room as well is really all about the flight control. So this is spin flying and sticking on everything. And the next room is normal flying. Wow, I don't know why that's I'm struggling with that right now. This room and the next room are really not super hard, especially as soon as you know how to do it. I think I'm just letting it go for too long. So yeah, we'll kind of hopefully burn through these, and then it gets to the really exciting, fun to watch stuff. I'm just going too slow. So one of the big upgrades, I was really excited to get a Super Nintendo Mini, the second model, the Junior. Pretty recently, and actually I RGB modded it, so I've got everything running through a new cable, and the picture quality, we'll see, compared to the old ones, it should be a lot better, and I've actually gone to 1440p, but a higher refresh rate, so I think everything looks a little bit cleaner, and I'm kind of just doing a normal integer scale, and it's pixel perfect, so it's basically, oh yeah, as it blocks. It's basically pixel perfect. It looks just like an emulator, and it's right out of the Super Nintendo, so super cool. I'm very happy with the setup, and I can still play on actual hardware, but get that amazing look. So yeah, we're just trying to spin fly, kind of run back and forth so we can avoid the thwomp, and just spin fly off that block as it moves over. So it really just requires, oh yeah, I lost way too much. Requires a lot of precision to get up on this block and spin fly across to get to that next section. After that, I don't think there's too much more. Each of these rooms is pretty short, and I definitely went into it without any knowledge, so I just kept doing it until I figured out whatever the intent was. So basically just like that, and then we gotta avoid those Kaizo blocks, let it gracefully fly down, and then we go on to the next room. And in all of these, you cannot take damage. So, you start with a cape in this, but later on you may start with just a mushroom. And if you take damage, you will not clear the end. So it isn't forgiving at all. You really have to do each of these rooms perfectly. But the nice thing is there is a checkpoint after each one, so you don't have to worry about going all the way back to the beginning if I fail later on. Otherwise, I'd be really good at this first section. So... yeah, I've only cleared this twice. One time last night, and I believe it, honestly, I did the first few rooms maybe a couple of times each, because it's so long. 7 rooms, I essentially had to quit halfway through, and it probably took me in total, I don't know, 6 or so hours just to get through this one level, all 7 different rooms. Some of those tricks I'm a lot better at than I was before, for sure, and some of them I'm still kind of struggling with, but just more and more practice. So, I will say, out of all the stuff I've done so far, this is by far the coolest looking, and the music is awesome, and it doesn't really get old. I could probably, keep playing this, so I'll record right now, we'll post it up, see whatever time it is. Well, I didn't even start my timer, whatever it was, had a couple minutes there, but... kind of curious how long it will actually take, so just warming up, it's fine. There we go. So that's one room down, that's not too bad, and then this room is all about flight precision, so I will not be flying fast. It's all about just going slow and controlling everything and dodging all of the obstacles. And so you're doing a lot of, kind of fine controls. That was too fast. And you hold back to do the pumping to gain more height or to control your height. But you can also push B to slow down, and you'll see at the top right there's a bunch of meters, so you can see the X speed, and I'll be controlling that the whole way through. You need to go faster sometimes and slow down a lot of the time. I really don't watch it. I'm just, aware that it's up there. I was at the very beginning trying to watch it and see what speeds worked out and which ones didn't. But yeah, the intention here is just to kind of take it slow and easy and control everything. So you pass the swamp at the beginning. Nice thing is he goes out of the way. The later ones do not get out of your way. They have to, you have to avoid them. Swims, pretty easy to get by those usually, as long as you have nice speed control. And then getting back around those spikes is always tricky. So this next section, as I said, I didn't watch anything. I didn't get any help. But I actually watched this after the fact and found that there's a lot of easier ways to do some of this stuff, and I wasn't really doing them. So slowing down there, I was kind of trying to get it all full out, and I did successfully complete it that way. But slowing down and kind of controlling the jump off those is really the way to go. And really not trying to speed up too much, just kind of get higher off of them. I think a lot of these too, you'll notice that the earlier parts are not too bad, and it gets a little bit harder, so you end up having to do the earlier stuff quite a bit, which is good for practice for sure, but... So right here, and we can just stay at this height. Drop down, get speed. Stupid fish. Get out of your fish. That fish has killed me a few times for sure. So, then we've got our swimming test. This is all about just controlling swimming, so most of the time you're holding down, and as you see, there is the control overlay at the top left there, but most of the time I'm just holding down to control height, speed, all of that, and just dodging fish. It doesn't really seem that tight when you're doing it, but honestly, you really do need to have very precise control, it seems like. And maybe this isn't nearly as bad as some of the stuff I would see later on, but as I said, I think this was a pretty giant step up in difficulty, and I really feel proud of being able to finish some of this stuff. So, on the right-hand side of that fish there is actually a Kaizo block that killed me the first time. That was horrible. I don't know how I got it back, but that's cool. There we go. And then here, controlling, you want to go down as fast as you can, but there's really no way to go faster. So you can go up, you can swim up very fast, but you cannot swim down very fast. Anyways, I'll show you this Kaizo block here if I get a chance. But yeah, so you have to jump out from the left-hand side and swing around to get to the right-hand side. I'm not sure if there's one there. I always just go to the far right, and that seems to work out okay. But originally I was like, oh, I'll hug the right wall. And yeah, the block is there to prevent you from doing exactly that. My thumb is still pretty sore from the first run through this. I'm developing quite a callus, which is pretty funny. Oh, come on. So, yeah, and then the other fun thing about levels with swimming in general, item swimming versus free swimming like this is very different. So, the first half of the level, you're having to control everything with pushing the B button, as if you're jumping to swim up. And the second half, it's all about grabbing that shell and preventing yourself from swimming up. So you're tapping down to counteract the floating up. I should have a death tracker as well. Put it on my foot or something and just tap every time I die. I'm sure it was thousands to play through this before. swamp and the fish there are not quite in sync. So I will, just, you know, kind of the tips that I've learned, I'll be saying that, but I don't know if they're right or not. I really have no idea what I'm doing. But just kind of going through this, I will try to relay everything that I learned doing it. And I mean, honestly, all these levels are crazy, and they are very complicated, and some of them are long and blah, 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 but they're all totally doable. I never felt like I was not going to beat this, you know. Every single time I was doing it, I felt like I was getting maybe a little better at the first few tricks. I will say that this guy, Fish and Boo, popped out of nowhere the first time I was doing this. I was very scared trying to get through here, and trying to dodge him is very annoying for sure. But yeah, I never really felt like I was not going to complete this. I knew I could, it was just a matter of timing and persistence. I think the last two specifically, everything after this is not super fun to do. I definitely understand all the skills needed and everything, but I can understand why a lot of people don't really like swimming levels. I don't know, it doesn't seem nearly as consistent, and it's a lot slower, which I don't think translates very well for video or for streaming or anything like that. The cool thing here was the jumping in and out, and the switch from item swim to non-item swim, and all that is great, but in general, it's just swimming levels are not the most fun. Especially with things like that. It's a lot about controlling your momentum up and down, your vertical momentum, and that's why there's the Y speed counter in the top. But when you're holding down to swim, you basically cancel all of your current momentum and swim up just a tiny bit. Oh, that was interesting. Earlier than I expected to be able to do that. So, generally the shell jump isn't too hard. I don't know why I'm kind of struggling on that right now. It's a little awkward because you don't really know exactly how high you're going to jump out, and normally when you're standing on the ground, pushing down or pushing B gives you an immediate jump, but from the water it doesn't always seem like that's the case. So you can see I'm tapping B there, and it doesn't really always jump. So I'm sort of reacting to, did the game actually let me jump or not? At least that's what I found. So you'll see I do a lot of upswimming and then immediately cancel it with the down. Just get me out of here. Alright, next one. So this is an awesome one, I thought. Basically, you kind of combine a lot of the Kaizo classic stuff, and you're doing a lot of input switching, or jump switching, so from normal jumps to spin jumps. And then there's some fun tricks here. Trying to control that last jump, I think, is really the biggest thing here. Everything else I think is pretty consistent. The bullet bills all shoot at the exact same time, and you can kind of just get the pattern down for all of your inputs. It's a really cool, fun to watch level, I think. So this block has killed me many times. It's not a normal spin jump block, or normal block so that you can spin jump off of it and break it. And essentially, if you keep holding right, you just fall straight off. You end your jump and walk right off the edge. This one is a normal block, but you can just break it across. So this is a really, really awkward one for me. For some reason, it seems like the correct inputs don't always land you where you're supposed to. But you basically start out by holding down jumps so that you get maximum distance, and then it's very precise jumps off of all of that. And then you have to let go of jump mid-jump there to get onto the chuck, and control your jumps off the disco shell there to get momentum going to the right. This is just really, really cool to look at. You're honestly never really pushing left or right until after this chuck. So you get to there, and now I'm trying to hold right so I can get over the disco shell, but you really need to be precise on that last jump. And interestingly, it also seems like you have to be pretty precise off the chuck. I found that Normally you can get through this and just sort of hold down B and jump, and you bounce off the chuck just fine. But if you actually let go of your jump just slightly over the chuck's right side, it seems to work a little bit more consistently. So yeah, I'm basically just trying to get that disco shell ride down. And it's really tricky to do from following all these other tricks. So I think this is screen number 5, and this was easily the one that took me the longest to kind of get through. But now that I've gotten through it, I don't think it's too bad. Controlling the jumps here, in the beginning especially, was the trickiest part. It took me probably an hour to learn that kind of sequence of button presses so that you don't hit any of the spikes. And this is an ice level, so you're sliding the entire way. Oh, and then there's some nice, fun little pipes. I kind of forget that they're even here, but if you're holding down when you shouldn't be, you end up in those pipes, and it just sends you right back to the beginning of the level. The third one is actually where the dragon coin is on this level, and every level in this hack had a kind of a hidden secret dragon coin. So I found that by accident. Wasn't really thinking he was holding down, and ended up down the pipe. I'm not sure if there's a dragon coin in every room. I don't think so. Probably just that one for this entire level. I'm not really sure where the other ones would be hiding, so very possible that they are there. But so yeah, you need to carry enough speed, and as you see, there's the X speed at the top. I have noticed if you kind of do things properly, you end up with 40 speed, kind of jumping towards that chuck, and that's too much. You usually will jump straight over it. So you need kind of either less speed or to do a little bit of an adjustment. And probably the adjustment was what was intended, but it definitely felt like when I was learning this, like, hey, I'm doing it perfectly. Why am I over jumping the chuck? But, come on. I actually did try to adjust, but it still didn't matter. It wasn't enough. So I'm holding down jump here. I don't believe I need to be. Kind of just a habit. You needed it to get all the way out. Damn. All the way out to the... after the turtles here. You need to do a regrab so you can get all the way over to that right-hand side. And I just ended up holding you the whole. I'll feel really good once I clear this one. The other two are really, really cool rooms to do. Oh, perfect. They're really, really cool. Fun from rooms to watch. I think they will be challenging, but hopefully I can get through this a little bit quicker. This is definitely going to be the most challenging one for me. Yeah, to adjust, you really need to be precision. It has to be right at the end of your jump, letting go so that you make sure you hit that chuck. Yeah, otherwise you fly right over it. And I don't want to touch left or right at all, otherwise I basically kill all of my momentum, whatever's left. And as soon as you hit him, you end up with a certain amount of speed, and right there you need to jump at the very end of the travel. But yeah, as soon as you hit him, you change speed to 32, I think it is, and then you can kind of start holding left or right again. And essentially for the rest of the level, I'm ducking, except for those very specific pipes. Sometimes I can try it and then pop back up, but that was ugly. I think that's... Once I got past this beginning piece, and I'm not very consistent at the beginning part, but as soon as I got past it and realized, you know, kind of what it takes to do that, the disco shell by far is the hardest thing in this entire level. So riding off of that right here just feels... And you do need to be ducking for sure, otherwise you end up on the top spikes. But yeah, it by far feels the worst. Let go of the wrong button. There we go. Not too bad. The end part there, obviously the chuck jump, or the thwomp jump there can be really difficult, and I believe that last block on the far left side of that landing is actually breakable, which might end up killing you, but I never actually got to see that. I was always jumping farther. So I watched somebody else do this level, or this room, and it was very different. So a lot of this stuff, you can throw the shell up here and then catch it and throw it to the right. I like doing that, the bump jump, off of the shell. I think that's a lot easier and more consistent. This is basically just how I learned to do it. And I don't know, I never had a problem with it. I don't know which one's actually intended. I'm gonna guess probably this way, but I don't know. This looks a whole lot cooler, I think. Although it takes probably a little bit more accuracy to throw the shell up, catch it, and then, you need to grab it, and then throw it and jump off the thrown shell. Here I can adjust to it, you know, while it's in the air, so it makes it a little easier. And then this as well. I don't really understand how, but people will actually kind of throw the shell and then stop and land back on the platform there, and then kick the shell to the right and then jump off of it. I, again, wanted to just do the bump jump. I think it looks cooler. Maybe a little less consistent, but that's the way I first got it, and it doesn't seem like it's too hard to continue it that way. So I'm gonna get to keep doing it that way. I think this room of all of them might have actually taken me the least amount of time to do. It's pretty short, so there's a lot of precision jumping for sure, but it is pretty short. Essentially, that first try there towards the end, I was right at the end of it. So, yep, that's that. And the nice thing is, with these levels and most hacks, you can actually escape out if you wanted to. Start select will just exit to the overworld, and then you can retry skills if you needed to relearn something or retry something. And you can also just L or R, so right here I can hit L and R together, and it will reset back to the start of the scene. So, pretty neat. Gotta make sure I'm jumping really high, make that chuck jump all the way up with me. Get maximum height off of that jump. Sorry, hopefully the dog in the background with his toy is not ruining the recording. I feel like that was high enough, but yeah, that's what I really want to do. So. And of course, on things like that, you can adjust the fall height or the fall speed. So if you let go of jump while you're falling, you start falling faster. So that's how you can kind of adjust for these. Either push the button to fall slower and give it more time, or just fall as quickly as you can to get down to the shell. Like I said, some of these levels I'll just kind of get stun locked and keep failing in the same way over and over again. But hopefully I'll get it here in a second. So then, yeah, the end of the level there is to kick the P switch up, spin jump into it. I wasn't even able to talk about it the first time I got there. And then you can spin jump off of that little spiny, and you want to basically just throw the P switch up into the final little on-offs and land on it while you're all in midair, so that you can get through the final barrier to the door. There's a nice little fun surprise at the end too. I won't ruin it. I might edit this one down. I'll keep the timer on there so we can see kind of, you know, how long it totally took, but just the success pieces of it, we'll see. As I said, I didn't really want to do any editing, so yeah, throw the P-switch up so we can change the on-offs blocks to the right there and get through them. I only wanted to throw it up once, and then you need to land on it, so basically you're holding jump the whole way down, and hopefully it's under you, so that you can trigger it. That will change those blocks to the right there into coins, and you can move through the coins. So yeah, the precision here, you have to jump off Chuck's right-hand side, otherwise you get bounced basically straight up or to the left into the wall. And you can't let him get too far. He has to be right at the beginning of his jump for sure. So that's a precision jump there as well. As you see, if you hold down jump the whole way, you actually end up in the spikes at the top, so you bounce off of it holding jump and let go before you get to your peak so that you don't gain too much height. And then we want to go off the platform and throw the P-switch up. It's really funny, I kind of thought I would overanalyze a lot of this stuff. It's not really super tight like that, and then yeah, you get your falling chucks that you have to avoid as well. I thought I would overanalyze it, and I've noticed that a lot of this stuff, the kind of movement, the button presses are all natural. I don't really have to worry too much about what buttons am I pushing, and I'm not mentally thinking about it. You just sort of naturally get to it and do it. So anyways, on this, yeah, we're trying to chase this P-block, or the... I forgot what those are called. The P-block? I don't remember. We're chasing it down, so I found that the best time to start running with it is actually right when the Koopa touches it. And then, yeah, we're running off of this saw to get to the chain, whatever the chains. So that was a little slow, and you actually need to jump right at the end, so it doesn't really matter if you're running on the same frame as the same block as the P. It seems like there's quite a window, and then each of those is also a precision jump, so I'm not pushing A the entire time. I'm hitting it so that I bounce off and get a nice height, and then let go so you get the correct height through each of those gates. And you can hold it down for a little bit longer or a little less to kind of control how high you get out of the exit. And then we're trying to do a block jump? P-block jump? I can't remember what they're called. It's too late. So, the one frame, the frame perfect trick to jump off of that. So, yeah. And then we can always, I try to tend to run a little bit early because you can always do a little bit of a left-right at the end. So, you kick it up, spin, and then we're trying to escort that block, so you have to carry it the whole way. I'm using it to kick up into the P-blocks there, or to the on-off blocks there, and then I will also need to kick it up at that other Koopa. So you have to make sure you catch it while riding the shell, or the saw. I don't know. This, to me, was the coolest thing. This looks so crazy to do, and it's really fun and fluid, and as I said, the inputs are not super crazy. Yeah, so there, for example, I started running really early, but you can kind of do that level left right at the end. You want to make sure that you're not doing too much of a backwards pushing left, because you end up losing too much speed. just tend towards the earlier side of things, otherwise you can't catch up. And it does seem like the block travels basically the exact speed you run. So you'll notice like I'm kind of right with it. Maybe it's a slight bit faster, but not too fast to get through all that. I think that transfer, for me, this transfer here, from the saw, or from the chain back to the saw, back to the chain, this is the trickiest thing. So trying to get it timed correctly and get up high enough and not lose the saw underneath you is by far the trickiest thing in this screen. So I want to try to bounce twice and do a big jump off the second, but for some reason I'm not pushing the button early enough. I get basically third bounce. So on that one, I kind of wanted the third bounce. I wasn't sure if I was going to hit the spikes or not. So. The funny thing with these blocks is you can actually be quite a bit behind it. I think the game kind of thinks, or the hitbox for it is lagging behind where the actual sprite is. So you can be quite a bit behind it like that. I wasn't really riding it, but the game thought I was. Kind of like that. Seems like the window's pretty big. So there we go. 3. I found that by far the worst on my hands is the left hand, the D-pad. I don't know if this D-pad is just rough or something, but man, my thumb, that thumb specifically is hurting. Oh, come on, grab it. I failed jumping off of it and not grabbing, or grabbing it and not jumping off of it, so then I failed the opposite way the next time through. Trying to think, so yeah, we escort this through the end of the level, and do one final pretty awesome big jump off of it, and hopefully get to the end. And this is definitely the last part, so once this room is over, I'll probably let the credits run and keep the timer going, just to maybe even out the time a little bit from the stuff I missed at the beginning. I can see the recording is basically 4.5 minutes ahead of the timer, so I don't think I used that. I missed that much time on the timer. Honestly, I didn't expect this to take 30 minutes. I wasn't really sure what to expect. That's totally fine. And now that I've done this, I also had kind of learning to fly on my radar. I've played through a lot of those levels, learned all the cape tech. That was really fun. There's a couple of them that are really, really cool looking levels, but for the most part, it's kind of repetitive, so it's all the same stuff that we've been doing in these other hacks. I think from here, I'm just going to jump into actual games. It's a lot more fun to watch, you know, real levels and chaining tricks together, and I'm going to try to play them all blind. I haven't touched anything other than basically these 4 hacks so far. So I think going into it blind will be a lot more fun for everybody. I'm not really sure what to expect. I think some of these might take a long time, and I probably will piece them out into different, 4 or 5 parts, or however many it takes, so that the videos can stay shorter. I think these hour-long videos maybe are a little bit much for me, so I'll play through a couple levels one night and put it up, and then hopefully keep them going. Some of them, if they get good, maybe I'll keep playing, I don't know, but hopefully some of the earlier ones are not super hard, and I can get through them really quickly, especially with all the practice I've had with all these. Definitely still need to remember to turn off my auto screen dimming and stuff. Alright, so just gotta make sure that you're basically moving to the right whenever you're throwing the... That wasn't too bad. So yeah, jump on the Yoshi, spin jump off the Yoshi, because it stores the spin jump as you're going through, and then just jump off the block that's flying by. Too bad. So that's it. I graduated. Well, we'll have the credits here, and it shows all the people involved, which is awesome. And then there's an orb at the end. So, not too bad. 35 minutes, something like that. I'll take it. I think that's, as I said, by far the hardest thing that I've done so far, and probably a lot harder than some of the stuff I'll start with. But definitely satisfying. It was a whole lot of fun to play through the first time, and a lot of this stuff, especially finding like Kaizo blocks in the middle of all that, was just, I don't know. I enjoyed it. So, as I said, my plan is I'll probably start with some stuff. If anybody has any suggestions, go ahead and, let me know. I'm kind of thinking right now I'm going to do like quickie worlds, maybe 1 and 2, and then jump from other stuff. I've got a whole bunch of stuff already listed and prepared. I'm definitely going to do a lot of the beginner stuff first. I don't want to jump into anything hard, anything even mediocre, just to make sure that I'm not burning myself out on stuff. I don't mind being dropped into the hard end of the pool, but when I don't even know what to, where to start, that will be a problem. So I want to get through some easier stuff and try some stuff. And also I've heard there's a lot of really, really cool just hacks in general that are not super difficult and change a lot. They're not entirely, Mario stuff, physics. So hopefully it'll showcase some of the stuff that really can be done, like a lot of the fancier hacks will do. And we'll see how things go. As I said, I'm not really sure what my schedule's like. I don't know when I'll be playing. I don't know when I'll be hosting. I have no idea. So these are the people that we're playtesting. So the community's pretty tight-knit. You'll see a lot of these names probably pretty frequently. And things like Nexus. He was one of the creators of the other one of the other hacks I've already done. So pretty cool. So that's that. And then, yeah, I graduated. So thanks for watching. I'll cut it off here, and next time we'll do something fun.